how y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. Out making a sweet tea run this morning, and I want to get on here and talk about why I bought a Toyota Tundra. You know, there are lots of other models out there, obviously, and people suggested other models: the Fords, the Chevys, the Rams, even the Nissan Titan. But obviously, I went with the Tundra Crewcab Limited. The first reason, I guess, is size. Obviously, I went from a Tacoma, which was smaller, to this full-size, gigantic truck. I wanted something bigger. I wanted something with more room inside, particularly in the back. The Tacoma is okay, but doesn't really seat adults very well. And that was kind of a problem over the holidays for me. So I wanted something bigger, and I certainly got that in the Tundra. I think this is probably, of what I've seen, one of the largest interior area trucks out there, and perfect for what I wanted. Secondly is reliability. I've had a couple of F-150s. I recently had the Rebel, and I had some little gremlin-y type issues with both of those. Toyota's known, of course, for its reliability, and that's just something that I didn't want to have to worry about anymore. You know, always in the back of my mind with the Rebel was, how long was it going to last before I had problems? Fortunately, I didn't have any really big problems. I had some little electrical gremlin, but that seemed to clear itself. I don't know. So reliability. I wanted a truck that's reliable, that I can hopefully hold on to for quite a while. Modability. I wanted a truck that I could do things to, that I could change, that I could customize and kind of make it my own. This truck obviously has a lot of chrome on it. I am an anti-chromist. I don't like chrome, but there are enough options out there and things that I can do and that I want to do to take care of that. I can change this and make it my own. So that was another draw for me. You know, with Toyota's TRD leg, if you will, there's just a lot of stuff out there that you can do, and I like that. So we will be doing several mods to this truck. Primarily cosmetic, probably, but maybe some mechanical and a little more involved as well. Stay tuned for that. Next, and this might be a real crazy or kind of petty a thing, but nonetheless, I wanted the rear window that's fully retractable, that goes all the way down. You know, my buddy Tundra Dude kind of introduced me to that. He had talked about that in a couple of his videos, and I really wasn't aware that was an option anymore in any truck. And it is in this trim, in the Crewcab. I just think it's really cool. I think that, combined with the sunroof, and then you put all the windows down, and you almost get a kind of convertible type feel in a truck, or maybe a better comparison, I guess, would be a Jeep kind of feel. You know, if you had the top of the Jeep down and we're just surrounded by the roll bar. Not quite as open as that, obviously, but still a much more open feeling, and I really like that. A little bit of the sweet tea there. So that was a big, we got a skier running across the 55-mile-an-hour road here. That's brilliant. Good thing the brakes work pretty well too. So anyway, yeah, that was a big draw for me, believe it or not, in getting this truck. That is just something that I had to have. I even briefly thought about trying to do some kind of a mod in the Rebel back when I had it. Or even the Tacoma to get that, but not realistic, and I didn't really see anything out there to be able to do that. So Again, I know, kind of crazy. I also wanted something different. I've had F-150s, as I mentioned in the past, Fords. Recently had the Ram Rebel. Wasn't really interested in a Chevy because honestly, I don't like the square wheel arches or wheel wells. And I know that the Silverado is going to be coming out. They redid the Silverado, and it's going to have the rounded wheel arches. But I don't believe that's going to be out until the end of next year for a 2019 model year, something like that. Maybe sooner, not sure. And there aren't a lot of details on the interior of that truck. And I can't imagine that it's going to have the power that this truck has. And that's my next point, I guess, is the power in the Tundra. You know, I always thought that the 5.7 Hemi was kind of top of the line as far as that goes, but I was mistaken. This iForce 5.7 is, it feels faster to me, quicker than the Rebel did. And I like that. For me, it's all about off-the-line speed, off-the-line quickness, I guess, is a better way to describe it. When I'm sitting at a stoplight or whatever and I hit the gas, I want to go. I don't want a lag. And the Tundra doesn't have that. Paired with that, I guess, is also the transmission. I think this is a 6-speed. And I think Toyota has done a really good job mating up the transmission with the engine in this truck. The shift seems seamless. I don't feel the truck shifting. I can't say that that was true in any of the other trucks that I had. The Rebel was probably the closest, but not nearly as smooth of a feel from a shifting standpoint as the Tundra. The ride of this truck, and this really surprised me. You know, I had the Rebel with the air suspension before, and I thought that was probably the smoothest out there, and that any truck I would go to beyond that would be rougher, would be more truck-like. And not true. The suspension in this truck is, I would say, the smoothest that I've ever been in. It feels like a luxury car when you're driving around in this. You know, it rides nice and smooth. You don't feel every bump. You don't bounce all over the place. And I really like that. That was another big reason for going with the Tundra after I did the test drive. It was very surprising to me. Back to the interior in here, I had mentioned before about how large it is. It's more than that inside the Tundra. Let me take this turn here. You got to watch some of these. You're pulling out into a 55-mile-an-hour road that most people are traveling, you know, 65, maybe 70. Anyway, the feel of the interior of the truck. Now, I wouldn't say that the Tundra has the flashiest interior. It certainly doesn't. But it certainly has the most open air kind of a feel to it, if you will. It just feels bigger inside. And again, I don't know if it really is or not, or if it's just the way that Toyota has handled the spacing of things inside the truck, if that makes sense. For instance, the gap between the two front seats. You know, it seems larger to me than others that I've had, and maybe even a little bit shorter, so that when you look to the back, it just feels a lot bigger. Yesterday, taking my daughter back to the airport, I had turned around to hand her something, I think a drink or something we had stopped for, and was reaching back to hand it to her, and I couldn't reach her as she was sitting in her seat reaching forward to me from my seat in the front without leaning back to hand it to her. I don't recall ever experiencing that in any other truck I had had. It's just cavernous inside this truck, and it's a nice feeling. It's not that it's so large that it feels like you're in a motorhome or something, although it might be a little similar to that, or a semi-cab, let's say. But it's big enough that you don't feel confined in here. I had that feeling in the Tacoma, especially with someone sitting here beside me. I won't call it claustrophobic because it certainly wasn't, but more confining. This just feels much more open, and I really do like that. The last thing I'll mention is the seat comfort in this truck. I would say the best I've had by far. Now, in the Rebel that I had, the front seats were fine, no issues there. But the front seats in here are even more comfortable, more plush, more padding, I guess. Maybe a better seating angle, I'm not sure. And I know they're both adjustable, but it still feels better in the front. Now, the rear, the best by so far, or by far that I've had. I used to get a lot of complaints from passengers in the back about the seating angle, how it seemed to sit straight up, like a 90-degree angle when you sat back there, and that the ride was stiff, bumpy, harsh, which is strange because I never noticed that in the other trucks in the front, but I guess depending on how they've got them set up in the back, maybe you could experience that more, I don't know. But it's not like that in this truck. The people that I've had sit back here, which have only been 2 or 3, but those are the same people that have mentioned how bad the ride and the comfort was in the other trucks, said that it was great. I've sat back there myself, and because that was another one of the big reasons that that I wanted to go back to a full-size truck, and I wanted to compare that just to see how it rode, and it was fantastic. It has more of a back angle, if you will, than the other trucks that I've had, and it makes it really comfortable, I think, for the passengers. So a definite bonus. Anyway, those are a few reasons why I went with the Tundra. I do love this truck so far. I'm out riding around in it right now just because I wanted to go ride around in it. As usual, appreciate you guys watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't before. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a good day.